The garage locked, the door ajar, nothing stolen, nothing ransacked, nothing rummaged through, no items taken. Everything appeared in place. What does it mean? I know at least one expert has focused on the dog for good reason. Joining me, forensics expert, director, and founder of the Cold Case Investigative Research Institute and star of Zone 7 podcast, Cheryl McCollum. What about it?
I would focus on the dog because you're going to see the pattern of what the Hackmans did. Did they put the dog in the crate in the morning or the evening? That would give you a timetable to start from. Those patterns, those habits are really important. The other thing for me is if you talk about a necropsy for the dog or testing for the animal, that's going to come back quicker than it will for the Hackmans. We may not know for sure for months what may or may not have happened to them, but with that animal, we would know much quicker. So my focus would be on the habit.
Why do you say that, Cheryl?
Because you're not going to have that many. You're going to have many more people that have to have an autopsy than an animal that is killed in a situation or died of natural causes or poison. So those tests are going to be able to tell us much, much quicker what might have occurred in that home.
So you were saying the reason we would get the results back on the dog more quickly, the German Shepherd, is because there's no line. There's not a long line of gerbils and hamsters and guinea pigs and birds and cats and dogs waiting for an autopsy. Is that your reason for saying that the dog autopsy will come back quicker?
Correct.
Got it. Joining me to follow up on that is renowned medical examiner, toxicologist, pathologist, opioid treatment expert, and author of American Narcan, Dr. William Moroney. Dr. Moroney, thank you for being with us and taking your time away from what you do every day for all of us. Dr. Moroney, with the door ajar, would that rule out carbon monoxide?
In any normal case, the answer is yes, because carbon monoxide has to concentrate. Can't concentrate with the door open.
Dr. Moroney, what would be found typically when someone dies of carbon monoxide? And then I want to follow up with you with the fact that both Hackman and his wife were mummified to a degree. But first, the carbon monoxide.
Well, in carbon monoxide, the skin is bright red. Now, that may be complicated because they were mummified, but the appearance of the skin and the color of the deceased is the take-home point. And the fire department does not enter a building without running a carbon monoxide meter, so they would know that because when they enter, then they would have to use a self-contained breathing apparatus. So that's the carbon monoxide question.
Well, you're going so fast, Dr. Moroney. For regular lay people like myself, first of all, why would the victim's faces be red due to carbon monoxide poisoning? That's a surefire giveaway, but why?
Because the chemistry of carbon monoxide versus the chemistry of hemoglobin, it's how things work. Hemoglobin allows you to transfer oxygen back and forth. Carbon monoxide, it's just the color of blood with carbon monoxide in the skin. It doesn't change. And the carbon monoxide molecule permanently sits in the receptor site on the hemoglobin, whereas oxygen moves on and off easily. It's always a red color because that's the chemistry of carbon monoxide.
I want everyone on the panel to hear what more we know. Listen.
Walking in the front door, officers see a bathroom to the left of the front door. Betsy is lying on her right side, dead. She is wearing dark gray sweatpants and a light-colored sweatshirt. Next to the body is a black space heater near her head, but the report doesn't say if it was on. An open orange prescription bottle with pills scattered on the countertop. There are obvious signs of death, body decomposition, bloating in her face, and mummification in both hands and feet. As deputies continued, they see see feet and legs near the kitchen area. Gene Hackman is found dead in the mudroom wearing gray sweatpants, a blue long-sleeve t-shirt, brown slippers, has a walking cane, and a pair of sunglasses. Hackman also showed obvious signs of death.
To Jessica Finn joining us, investigative reporter with the U.S. Sun. Were both bodies partially mummified, and are we sure that door was ajar?
Yeah, so both bodies were absolutely partially mummified. Really gruesome scene that police ended up coming upon at the house, at the residence. And you know, we from what we understand, the back door was ajar. It seems like it could have potentially, police theorize, been ajar to allow the dogs to come in and out of the residence freely. We don't know that for sure. There's different reports about the front door. The maintenance worker initially says in his 911 call that the front door is locked. When the police get there, the police say that the front door was not locked. So we don't know exactly the situation with the front door, but we do know that the back door absolutely was not only unlocked, but it was open. And dogs seem to be coming in and out of the home freely.
Very, very curious, and I'm going to follow up in a moment with Cheryl McCollum regarding that door ajar. We've seen that before when pets were involved. Okay, to Dr. William Maroney, a lot to break down right there. Dr. Maroney, first of all, mummification. What is it? Now, we believe, and I'll get into this too, there's just so many scientific evidence, is what it's called in the law regarding, for instance, the pacemaker. How long had it not been working, and what does that mean? There's a lot to do with this pacemaker. What I'm getting at, Maroney, is a timeline. Can you talk to me about what is mummification and how would that happen that quickly? I mean, I would expect if they had been dead 9 days, as we are told, based on a lot of different circumstantial evidence, extrinsic evidence, I'm very surprised their bodies aren't in decomp as opposed to mummification.
There's two words that lead us to understand mummification. New Mexico. This is totally different than a body dying in Iowa, Connecticut, or Wyoming. Bodies desiccate in these kind of environments much faster. And
what is that? Do I have to tell you again, Dr. Maroney? Desiccate.
I'll try to
Please.
dumb it down. I'll
speak English.
Drying.
Thank you. Yes,
Drying.
and I will take that. Not in a bad way. Dummy down for me.
Yeah, look, in any other environment, mummification is a general principle that follows. Nobody goes to the bloating around the face, the bloating around the center chest and the torso. Limbs mummify faster. Limbs don't usually bloat up with gas. I see it all the time on scenes. Mummification if somebody's been down a week, but New Mexico. Those are the key words as to why this went through mummification so fast. Air condition, outdoors, whatever the conditions are in New Mexico. Mummification, drying, is really a big part of this.
Hackman's daughter, Leslie, tells reporters that she hadn't seen her father or stepmother in a few months since she lives in California. As far as talking to her dad, she said it had also been a couple of months, but she adds they were close. She says everything seemed normal and good. Her father was in good shape doing Pilates and yoga multiple times a week.